Hello and welcome to episode number 3 of the First Intuition Learning Lounge. And for this episode, I'm pleased to say I've been joined by Louisa Rowland from Rowland Recruitment. And in this session, we're going to be looking at what employers want. So particularly in the Southeast accountancy market when it comes to recruitment. Welcome, Louisa.
Thank you, Ian.
I'm really pleased that you can join us today. And maybe for our viewers at home that possibly aren't aware of you, a little bit of background about yourself.
Certainly. I am the founder of Rowland Recruitment. I've worked in the finance and accountancy recruitment arena for nearly 30 years. I joined straight from university, and in my career I've worked for large blue-chip international companies, small boutique agencies, and founded my own business to be able to support the professionals in the southeast of England.
Excellent. No, so that's excellent. So one of the reasons you're here is because of that experience and knowledge and insight you can bring, particularly for our local area, and using that knowledge and insight, and thinking about trends in the southeast from your perspective. How is the demand for accountancy talent evolving in the region? How is it changing?
Demand has always been high for strong candidates in the accountancy and finance recruitment arena because there is a huge demand and unfortunately quite a lack of supply of good candidates. So this has been a trend that we've seen for years. Unfortunately, when the economy seems to dip and organisations tend to offer less trainee roles, we see a knock-on effect for that fluidity through the market that we need in order to provide enough candidates to service the amount of roles in the market. And I think in the southeast, we are still in a position where demand outstrips supply, and I don't envisage that changing in the short term.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it's driven by what's happening in the economy, the fact we're close to London, so you have the pull of London. From a school point of view, Kent is renowned for its grammar school system. So again, lots of schools still focus more on that push to university as opposed to considering things like school leaver apprenticeships.
Absolutely.
So with those, say, lack of recruitment, it then lasts because that means that you've got not so many people at the middle level, part qualified level. So it just feeds through, doesn't it?
It does. And specifically when you've got that sort of bottleneck, that's when we fall into problems with servicing the amount of opportunities there are on the market.
Yeah. And with those opportunities, what would you say in your opinion are the proving to be the hardest areas in terms of specialisms that your clients, employers you work with are looking to recruit for now? What are the kind of the problem areas, so to speak?
Definitely the defined skill sets such as audit, tax, personal tax, corporate tax. That goes across to the commercial sector for analytical roles or business partner roles. There seems to be a huge desire for those skills, and it's a great market for people to enter into because you will never struggle to get a job in those areas because the demand is so high for those skill sets. But they've always typically been difficult to find those candidates. But it's definitely a brilliant market to enter into if you're looking at getting a trainee role and going into that. Employers really look for those skill sets, and these are always going to be key positions that organisations recruit to.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah, I've heard that when I've been speaking to clients myself, that they're always looking to say, qualifications great, but it's in that specialism, as to say the tax, the audit, even so getting harder to fill. This episode is entitled "What Employers Want," and so what are they looking for? What would you say are the top 3 qualities that employers are looking for in a new hire today? Would you say?
I think probably top priority is communication skills. I think they will look for individuals who they have the confidence in that they are going to be able to communicate with non-financial individuals
Yep.
about financial information.
Sure.
That's really important. Technology, strong IT skills, also equally important. They want to know that the individuals they're employing are going to be able to adapt to new systems, operate efficiently and quickly, and be able to work well in a fast-paced environment. And IT and communication skills are really high up on their agenda. I think also commerciality. People want to understand that you will, as an employer, they want to see that you will understand that what the impact of finance is on the bigger picture of a business. So it's not just about the data and the numbers, it's actually the larger picture. So employers are always looking for those skill sets when they're looking to employ new staff.
Yeah, and that, I'd say that really does ring bells, because you say it's the communication, so speaking with clients, and doing it face to face, not all via email, and being able to add value. So that understanding, so that you're not just saying, here's a set of accounts, but you're able to provide that additional understanding to your clients to help them with their businesses and to help them grow their business or help them with their decision making. So how do employers go about getting that balance right when they're recruiting, when they're doing their selection of candidates, that balance between technical and soft skills? How do they approach that?
I think it's important that if, as an employer, they identify the key drivers for the role, so that the important ones, not the would like to have, but identify exactly what they require in the role, and also then what they can develop in somebody, rather than them having everything all at once. Looking at softer skills. So as an employer, if you're trying to find out whether that individual can have that breadth that you're looking for, maybe in your recruitment process, make sure you're ensuring that you're tailoring certain interview questions to allow them to give examples of scenarios, so that you can get a better feel about their approach, their attitude, how they tackle things, and that will give you more insight into the individual as a whole, rather than it just being based on technical ability. A lot of employers are using psychometric testing, and others use, for example, assessment days. That puts you into a whole different ball game, obviously, but there you get to see a lot more about an individual and how they perform and what they're like. So as an employer, you can set out certain criteria to ensure and make sure you're exploring those criteria from the interview process to ensure you're going to get the right rounded candidate you're looking for.
Yeah, I think, as you said, the assessment days, actually tailoring and thinking more cleverly, so to speak, about the interview process and the kind of questions you're asking, digging a bit deeper into a candidate's not only existing skills, but potential to develop. And I think, going back to what you said at the start, is that although in the Southeast area there's a lot of demand, employers aren't just going to fill that demand with anything. They're still going to be very choosy because of the amount of investment, not just financial, but time in the right candidate. Someone that is going to be able to progress and have that succession planning in a firm. So I think from a student point of view, it's a case of there's still going to be very rigorous selection processes in there.
Absolutely.
From an employer's point of view, once they've actually recruited the talent, they've got that learner on board. What are the kind of strategies you're seeing in the area amongst your client base when it comes to keeping the staff and helping them with development? What kind of strategies are employers implementing?
I think there's more acknowledgement in regard to how they handle onboarding. So that's a very important process. Once they've got somebody on board, it can make or break a successful appointment. So ensuring they've got the relevant and onboarding set up and to enable the individual to integrate into the business successfully. Also, we're seeing a lot more in regards to development options. So there is a clear strategic development plan put in place for them, so they can understand where their role is now, but where they can go to, which always makes an employee feel far more motivated and secure. Feedback about their work is also very important in allowing them to know when they're doing something well, not just when they're not doing something not so well. I think there's a lot of things an employer can do. Listening to the staff is important, understanding what their needs are, and making sure that they've got the longer term retention plan in place, because recruiting is costly. So, there's a lot of things you can do to mitigate a loss of a member of staff, by putting a few key things in place.
Yeah, and obviously, seeing here today at First Nutrition, one of those things is supporting the staff with the appropriate training.
Absolutely,
making sure that they're on the right level, they're doing the right qualification. Obviously, with our apprentices, the line managers turn up at their progress reviews, so they're able to see what the learner is actually doing on their apprenticeship, making sure they're getting the correct opportunities to develop their skills in the workplace. And all of that, from a student's point of view, shows that investment by the employer, rather than just being, okay, you're doing X, Y, Z, you go off to college every week. They're actually showing that engagement, and that counts a lot. And they say that investment, that leads through to that retention, which is important for a lot of firms, that they're looking for those future managers, those future partners, when they've invested so much time getting them trained up.
Staff need mentoring, they need developing. It's motivating for them. And it shows with organisations that do invest more in their training and development. They retain staff, but also they attract better quality staff.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's very true. Very, very true. So if we now look ahead into the future and over the next 3 to 5 years, how do you see it changing, if at all, the recruitment, the accountancy recruitment market in the Southeast?
I think we'll still see the demand for top talent, and also the demand for key skill sets. I think that will still be something that we will be seeing in the market. I think we'll see more technology integration into the market. So roles may shift slightly, where systems become more integral with finance. It's already key, but everything is always moving forward. So I think we'll see more trends for individuals who have good technical skills that can add value to a finance role. And I think we will continue to see a variety of challenges in the market. I think the economy will always influence it, understandably, but with a lot of businesses still growing and still recovering from COVID times, there seems to be a lot of demand for skilled individuals, and I don't think we'll see that let up in the next 5 years. Although we might see things change and evolve, I think it is positive, but it is, you should be mindful that attracting the key talent is going to be still a challenge.
And my final question, which kind of leads on for that, is when you're speaking to your clients, would there be any advice you're giving them in terms of kind of future proofing their recruitment strategies?
Definitely. I think what clients need to understand is that what people are looking for now has shifted slightly. It's not monetary driven all the time. They need to be looking at a more holistic side of their business. So looking at mental well-being, supporting their staff on welfare issues, being seen as an employer of choice because they offer that support. It's taking a more rounded approach to how they market themselves as an employer. I think it's important that they recognise what their staff want, listening to their staff, will help them understand the key requirements that they need to fulfill as an employer. I think it's important that they address any concerns that staff may have, because the more they are engaging with their employers, the more they will be seen as an employer of choice.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important that they address that.
And of course, speaking to an expert in the field like yourself, to get those insights into what's happening in the marketplace, so that they're not falling behind or missing out on things that they should be doing that maybe their competitors are, when it's such a, let's say, high demand, not great in terms of supply. So speaking to someone like yourself to get those insights and that advice is important.
Absolutely. And I think when you're looking at the market and it's a competitive market, the simple offerings that you can do, for example, if you're not offering hybrid working or flexible working, or you are not offering competitive holidays or benefits packages, these are things you can address as an employer.
Sure.
It is something that you can resolve. And yes, obviously talking to professionals in the market to understand what the key drivers are for people these days, because it is a lot more than just a pay packet. It's people wanting to feel valued, understood, supported, and engaged in what they're doing, passionate about what they're doing. And as an employer, it really is their responsibility to fulfill that.
And as you say, keeping staff is a lot better than having to pay to get new ones, replacement ones if they're not happy. So that investment at the start, it pays dividends, longer term.
100%.
Well, Louisa, thank you very much for your insights and your time again today. Been very, very valuable to us and much welcome. So thank you as always.
Pleasure, Ian.
And that brings us to the end of episode number 3 of the FI Learning Lounge. I hope you found it of use, and I hope to see you all again next time. So please look after yourselves and each other. Thank you.